My life over the past few weeks has been a roller coaster of emotions. A lot of different stressors and challenges that have tested me. Nothing earth-shattering, just the usual life stuff. Now, part of my challenge in being a psychologist is I know all of the normal responses I'm supposed to have. I know all the positive thinking strategies you should use. And I know all the biblical responses of trusting God and leaning on Him. But I realized that in my expertise as a Christian psychologist, I actually regularly talk myself out of my feelings. I don't give myself permission to be honest with others about how I truly feel. I kind of forget that I'm human sometimes, and that in my humanity, I feel, I hurt, I doubt, I fret. And what is it that I need during those times? I need grace, encouragement, and acceptance. I don't need to chastise myself for feeling. I don't need to shut it all down for fear of being sinful. And I don't need to judge myself for my weakness. Maybe I just need to accept my feelings with non-judgment. Allow myself to feel them and soothe and comfort myself. Or reach out to others for that care and from God. Isn't that maybe how God has wired us to be? Emotional, relational? Didn't Jesus experience intense emotions during His time on earth, and yet He did not sin? You know, as Christians, many of us have grown up believing that emotions are the root of much evil. And so our responsibility as mature, committed Christians is to keep a tight control of our feelings, just in case we succumb to temptation. So the whole idea of letting it hang out just might feel a little bit sinful and probably not scriptural. But it is with respect that I correct that thought. Because in fact, God has designed us to live life fully, in love with Him, with our heart, soul, and mind. All emotions are actually a gift from God. Passion and delight and joy, they all come from facing the truth, when we're feeling the opposite. Every honest emotion has importance in any relationship, both with God and with others. Most of us simply need to learn what they are and how to express them. In therapy, we often teach our clients to acknowledge their emotions and accept how they feel without judgment. Our emotions aren't right or wrong, they simply are. And when we can accept and express them, there's relief, and the negative feelings lose their power to hurt our hearts and destroy others. Unacknowledged emotions, I can tell you, always control us in one way or another. And the more they're buried and ignored, the greater the power they gain to create great damage in our lives and in the lives of our loved ones. Our emotions are actually signals to pay attention to what needs attending to, and we must learn to respond accordingly. So if I feel angry, that might be my signal to speak up for myself, to set boundaries, or put a stop to something that's harmful. Ignoring my emotions means forfeiting emotional health and resolution of problems. And unfortunately, unresolved issues can build up and it can often escalate into painful crises. So meanwhile, what could have been a molehill can become more of a mountain and ultimately create a lot of havoc in your life and everyone around you. Yet, you know, recent studies of our brain indicate that all of our decisions and actions are motivated by our emotions, whether we actually feel them or not, at a conscious level. No matter how logical we may want to be, it turns out we can't divorce our decisions from our emotions. And if those emotions are all bottled up, eventually they're going to have to come out. So if you're unaware of your emotions and you don't learn how to pay attention to your inner world, you can be sabotaged by your emotions time and time again without understanding why. And more importantly, without having enough self-awareness to change the way you respond to a given situation. Remember, God isn't repulsed by our negative feelings, but because He loves us, He wants us to come to Him to process our emotions and then seek His wisdom to choose how we respond. How we feel is simply how we feel. It isn't good or evil. When we shame our emotions, we end up preventing the processing we need to resolve them. Finding permission to feel is the key to finally examining our inner world and responding well. I'm Dr. Mary.